Thank you, Harish Prabhu, for nice mridanga. I could hear Harish Prabhu playing nicely. Okay, Hare Krishna, everyone. So welcome today. So we'll start with Mangalacharan and then we'll start the class. Om Ajnana-timirandasya Jnana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Svapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapadakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavansha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Anvikam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Sadhutam Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Pavadan Sayakarikali He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastate Tapta Kansha Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpa Tarikascha Kripa Sindhubhye Vacha Patitana Pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasati Gauranga Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna, everyone. Okay, so you all here today made our catch-up class for the Easter weekend, which was pending for a while. So this week we'll have 2 classes because for 1.5 weeks last month we didn't have any class. So it's just not an extra class; it's just a catch-up class, and we will do some extra classes hopefully in following months. Okay, so let's start from 225. That's where we started, Samit Prabhu, last week.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah, you can hear us, hear me properly, Prabhu, and see the screen. Yeah. Okay, I'll make it a little bigger. It's easier for you to read. Is it okay?
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay. Hare Krishna, Pinaki Prabhuji. Good to see you. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Welcome back. Who would like to do the verse? Vinay Prabhu, if you're available.
Yes, Prabhuji, it's verse number 225.
Yes, Prabhuji, on the screen.
Okay. Okay. It is said that the soul is invisible, inconceivable, and immutable. Knowing this, you should not grieve for the body. Yes, this is a very straightforward statement. So soul never will be damaged, always, will be active. So body will be gone, body certain time, and soul will be transferred from one body to another body. So that's why don't worry about the body. So we can do fight. So Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhu. Just add few Sanskrit words. So, avyakta. Vyakta means a person manifested. Avyakta means which is non-manifested. So Prabhupada writes here, soul is invisible or unmanifest. Achintya. Chintya means what we can conceive from your mind. Achintya, what we cannot conceive, inconceivable. Anyone knows what does inconceivable mean here? So it's a direct translation, obviously, of achintya, but what does it contextualize with? We cannot know about the soul at all. We can know through the Shastra, not through our own intelligence. If we start speculating, we will not be able to know. So Achintya does not mean you cannot understand it at all. You can understand, but with the help of Shastra. Okay, avikarya. So vikar means transformation. Avikarya means transformation does not exist in the soul, only exists in the. So transformation does happen in the body, not in the soul. Huh? What sort of transformation happens? 6 types of transformation. Who can tell that? 6 transformation of the body.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Yeah, it's birth and then growth and maintenance, reproduction, deterioration, and dwindle or death.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you, Jayaprakash Prabhu. Very nice. So these 6 changes only happens, these 6 vikar, changes, transformation, whatever you want to call it, happens only for the body, not for the soul. Soul of the human, soul of the whale, soul at the age of 60-year-old body, soul at the age of 6 days old boy or girl, they're all exactly same. Tasmad, therefore, evam, to know this, after knowing that nanu sochitam arhasi. So what's the theme of this particular section which we are reading? Do not lament. And what is in this response to Krishna is telling? So this section is in response to which argument of Arjuna? So Arjuna gave 5 arguments. What was the first argument Arjuna gave?
Compassion.
Compassion, thank you. So he was very compassionate about the body and the killing and all that. So Krishna is saying, but you are the soul, you're not the body. So he is responding to the compassion argument right now. And he's giving how many verses in this section? 2:11 to 2:30. So around 20 verses Krishna is giving on the soul, knowledge of soul. Okay, let's move forward. And the bottom line of this is Nanu Sochitam Arhasi. Please do not lament. Okay, 226. I see on the screen. Radvi Mataji, Hare Krishna. Would you like to do 226?
If, however, you think that the soul will always be born and die forever, you still have no reason to lament, O mighty arm. In today's world, everybody thinks that the soul will born and it will die. So even if we think like that, still we don't have any reason to lament because we are going to take birth again if we think in those terms. So basically here Krishna, the one point that you focused last time was that here the main thing is that we need to give a ear to listen what others are thinking as well, even though we don't have to follow them, but we need to have that listening ear to what they are saying as well.
Yeah,
that's what is the point there.
Thank you, Mataji. So basically, he is giving a little different angle. And what angle he is giving, even if you think the body is made up of just the biochemicals, which modern science and modern so-called modern people believe in, even if you think the body is just born with some chemicals, so do you worry about the chemicals, a bunch of chemicals? If they come in and go, it's not such a big deal. So even if you think the body is just made up of some chemicals which come at a time and then go at a time, why do you lament so much about the chemicals? So it's a little angle given by Krishna. Okay, thank you, Mataji. Let's move forward. 227, Mahavasu Prabhu, Hare Krishna. Prabhu, you're still on mute.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So it is 2.27. Jatasya hi dhruvo mrityur dhruvam janma mritasya cha tasmad apariharyarte natvam sochitum arhasi. So the translation is, one who has taken his birth is sure to die, and after death one is sure to take birth again. Therefore, in unavoidable discharge of your duty, we should not lament. So this is in this verse, as we discussed last time, is that Jatasya is, that is, we take birth. Dhruvo, that is certainly. Mrityu, that is the death. But again, once the second fact is that Dhruvam Mrityur Dhruvam Janma Mritasya cha. So person who is born, he will also die, and person who is going to die, he will also take birth. So this is certain. And in this course, one should actually not lament, and he cannot actually avoid the birth and death. So Krishna is explaining about the soul changing from one body to other body based on the karmas and the activities. And The most important part that we said is explaining the 4 categories. Yep. Yeah, that's it, Prabhu.
Thank you,
Sorry.
Prabhuji.
Thank you.
Thank you for picking the Sanskrit words for the first line nicely. So Dhruva, we understand, is very determined. Huh? It just has to happen. And if there's a janma, there has to be a mrityu. And if there's a mrityu, there will be a janma. So tasmat aparyartya. So these things are unavoidable. So do not lament. What is unavoidable, why do you lament for that? So usually we lament for those things which are out of our control, isn't it? Something which is in our control, we are making something, we're building a house or something. Everything is going smooth and we are all happy. But when things go out of control, then we start thinking, oh, this is not going right, that is not going right. But then we understand this is the way nature is. Then we don't have to lament because this is how the nature works. So we have to just understand the nature. We all think our dear ones will not die. I think last time we were discussing one of the verses that Yudhishthir Maharaj in Yaksha Samvad, where Yaksha has asked Yudhishthir Maharaj, what's the most ashcharya, what's the most wonderful thing in the world? What was his response? You can say in your language, doesn't have to be Sanskrit verse. Vijaya
People,
Mataji. Yes.
that is, people in general think that they will not die, but the funny thing was he uses some nice words that
Yeah.
but they are sure to die. But then everyone thinks, oh, it is not me, it is so and so who's going to die.
Thank you. Although they see so many deaths every day in the world, every day, but still they think they will not die. Huh? Or you can say in a nice way, they think I will die, but I will die after such a long time that I don't have to worry about. Huh?
Yeah.
That's what they think. Huh? Even if say, oh, will you not die? Oh, I will die, but I don't have to think about it right now. Huh? I was speaking to some devotee. He works in a finance industry, and he was talking to his one of his customers, old lady, and he was just talking about, if death happens, this and that. And this lady was quite upset at this Prabhu, and she said, why you have to use this word in your conversation? So it's an old lady, and Prabhu is just talking the normal thing. Why you have to use this word in the conversation? They don't even want to listen the word. What to speak of understanding and acting on it? Huh? They don't even want to listen it. Ahni ani bhutani gachanti amalayam. Shesha isthavar icchanti. Shesha means the remaining ones. Isthavar means they want to remain here forever. Icchanti. Ataha sharikim param. What a great surprise. Huh? So it's a very nice. So tasmat aparyartya. So once we understand it, this is how the nature works. We don't have to worry so much. When the child is growing, parents are happy or parents are sad. They're happy. If the child is growing well, child is eating well, child is gaining weight, mothers and fathers are very, very happy. If the child doesn't grow, then the father and mother get concerned. Oh, why my child is not growing well? So after growth, there has to be deterioration and the death, change of the body. So if we understand that cycle, then we'll not be too much bogged up about that. Now what we'll be bogged about, as Prabhupada said, don't worry when you're going to die, worry how you're going to die. That means start living your life right now in a spiritual perspective, not just in a mundane perspective. Okay, thank you, Mataji. Let's move forward. This is a very famous verse as well. Now, 228. Rupam Prabhu, would you like to do?
Yes, Prabhu. So all created beings are unmanifest in their beginning, manifest in their interim state, and unmanifest again when annihilated. So what need is there for lamentation? So Prabhu, it's continuing from the previous one. The changes the body goes through is described, and ultimately Krishna is saying that do not think too much about it, don't lament.
Yeah, thank you. Would you like to pick up some Sanskrit words, Prabhu? Well, although what you said is correct, gist of this verse. So avyakta, which is
in the beginning.
Avyakta dini bhutani vyakti madhyani bharat. So avyakta, they're unmanifested. So vyakta and avyakta, you can understand vyakti. Vyakti means a person whom you can see. Avyakta, unmanifested. So avyakta dini bhutani. Bhutani refers to living entities. They are avyakta. In the beginning, they are avyakta. Vyakta madhyani bharat. In the madhya, in the middle. Suppose, before your life, you're unmanifested. In the life, your parents and friends can see you. touch you and say, okay, there's a person here. So they are Vyakta, you're a person. But after you leave the body, you become again Avyakta. Avyakta Nidhana. Nidhan means death.
Yeah.
At the death, you will again become Avyakta. So what's the point of lamentation about these three changes, for example? So you are unmanifested, you are manifested, and you unmanifest again. And I gave an example of you go to London or wherever to your friend, you live there for 3 days, 4 days. They're very happy to see you. You have a good time for 4 days. After 4 days, you go back home. You go back to Australia or wherever you are from. So he doesn't have to lament that, oh, I've lost my friend. No, friend has just moved from your house to his house. That's all it is. There's nothing. That's why they say when Vaishnavas leave the body, we have a mixed emotion. We don't say we are just crying. We are crying because in this body, we're not able to get their physical association. Yes, but at the same time, we are happy because that Vaishnava has joined the eternal pastime of Krishna. So it's a matter of joy once you send your boy on a journey or your parents on a journey. When they reach and they say, oh, Rupam Prabhu, I've arrived to my destination, nice, and the journey was good. Will you become happy or sad? They're going on a journey. You say, Papa, when you reach home, please call me. Papa call you. Beta, all good. The journey was comfortable. Flight was okay. Prasadam was very good. We arrived home on time. There was no difficulty. So son becomes pleased. So what's the difficulty? So when we understand this journey, then actually we become pleased. So Vaishnava has gone and joined the eternal pastime of Krishna. Then we are not so much concerned about it. What we are concerned about, now we will not get that Vaishnava's physical association in this body. But it says when you go back to the spiritual world, you will see your Guru Maharaj is there, your other devotees whom you know are there. I think Bhurishan Prabhu, if I'm not wrong, Prabhupada disciple, a very, very great scholar, he wrote a poem on something like that. So when you reach to the spiritual world, you'll be very surprised to see, Arey, ye wala bhi hai. He wasn't a good Vaishnava, he wasn't chanting his rounds properly. That person is also there. He stole some Krishna's money. Oh, that person, he only comes to Mangala Aarti once in a year or something. You'll be very surprised to see, oh, they are there. And then lastly, he writes, they will be surprised on you. How come you made it to the spiritual world? Because you think you are very eligible, but others are thinking similarly about you as you're thinking about them. So we become surprised of how they are a good devotee, but Krishna knows who's a good devotee. Krishna knows whom to take and whom not to take. So when you arrive, you should not think, oh, see, I'm so eligible person. I did so much hard work in my life. Actually, our faults are seen by others, not by us. We all think we are Yudhishthir Maharaj, everyone else is Duryodhan, isn't it? There's a little pastime in Mahabharata, I'm sure everyone would have heard it, when Dronacharya said to Yudhishthir and Duryodhan separately, he said to Yudhishthir, go and find a person who is worse than you. To Yudhishthir, he said, go and find a person who is worse than you and bring that person to me. Yudhishthir said, all right, Guru Maharaj, I'll go and find out. He called Duryodhan and he said, find out a person who is better than you. Bring that person to me. So they both went for the city tour whole day. Yudhishthir came back alone in the evening. And surprisingly, Duryodhan also came back alone. So Dronacharya asked Yudhishthir, so Yudhishthir, you could not find a person worse than you? He said, no. Wherever I went, I saw many different people and they had some negative points as well. But when I thought about myself and their negative points, I thought actually I'm the worst one. I have so many negative points. So that was Yudhishthir's attitude. And he asked Duryodhan, why you have come alone? Could you not find a better person than you? He said, wherever I went, the only better person I could see is myself. I was so great, I am so great. There's no one better than me. So Guru Maharaj, sorry, I could not follow your instruction, but I'm the best. So we all think that way, generally speaking, that I am the best, and everyone else is a Duryodhan. And Duryodhan also thinks Yudhishthir is a Duryodhan, isn't it? Duryodhan himself thinks, actually, I'm so great. It's just a Yudhishthir and Pandavas who have no sense, actually, no sense. Why don't they just leave and go for Bhiksha? Why are they bothering me at all? That's what he thinks. So whenever we think we are great, we should think about this little story. Yudhishthir Maharaj, who is Dharma personified, he is thinking there's no one worse than me. And we are not greater than Yudhishthir Maharaj, I'm sure. So if he cannot find a worse person, I'm sure, it doesn't mean we have to put ourselves very low. That's not the point here. Humility does not mean we think low about ourselves. Uttam Shloka, Prabhu Bhakti Rasayan Maharaj, he says very nicely, it's not, humility does not mean we think low about ourselves. Humility means we think less about ourselves, less. You do what you need to do, but we don't constantly think about my comforts, my name, my fame, my facility. It's okay, we think about Krishna's name, Krishna's fame, Krishna's facility. When we think about that, then we become real humble. Real humility also does not mean, my Guru Maharaj says, you put a Fevicol in between your hands and whole day you walk around this like that. That's also not humility. He says humility means honesty. You honestly accept, I'm not so great. I'm a weak devotee. I'm a devotee, but I'm a weak devotee. I succumb to my temptations and desires so many times. There's so many corners I need to improve on. Time is very less. So that's what the humility is. So these sort of verses are telling about the journey, and while we are in the journey, what should be our attitude? Okay, let's move to 229. We have Ujjwal Rasa Mataji and Akhand Rasa Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Any one of you can do this 229? Oh, this is a very nice.
Hare Krishna.
Both of you can do it. One can tell one perspective because we took two levels of this verse. So another your Mataji can tell the second level.
29. Okay. 229. Some look on the soul as amazing. Some describe him as amazing, and some hear of him as amazing, while others, even after hearing about him, cannot understand him at all. Now here, because of the qualities of the soul which were described in earlier verses, those qualities are actually amazing, and the people who are really renounced, like sannyasis, they look at the person. They don't look a person as such, but they look at the soul. So without any distinction of male, female, or whatever the body, without bodily concept. Now some hear about it, and like we are doing now, and after hearing the qualities of the soul, we think it's inconceivable and it's so amazing. And third one is some of them, even after hearing the qualities, they are not able to understand the soul, the concept of soul and its qualities. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji. Mataji, would you like to add something else?
Yeah, so as Prabhu said, this verse talks about two different levels. One is how people think that's the soul. After hearing all the description about the soul, they think of the soul as being amazing. They describe him as amazing. And when they hear about him, they are amazed. And even after hearing about him, they cannot understand. So that was one level. And the second level is people who themselves look upon the soul, not the body. So the examples are like the advanced transcendentalists, or we have heard about Sukadeva Goswami, how he was passing by the lake and the ladies didn't cover up themselves because he was totally on the platform of the soul. He was not looking at any bodies. And the second is some describing. So the advanced transcendentalists, they always describe the soul and the super soul. So that is amazing. And some hear about him because they are always engaged in hearing about the transcendental spiritual matters. And the fourth is after hearing, when we talk to a person, people who are outside this, when we talk about this concept about the soul or the super soul, they cannot understand at all. And we feel amazed that such a simple concept, and how come you are not able to understand? So this is on the different levels this verse is talking about.
Yeah, thank you, Mataji. Very nicely explained. So as Mataji explained very nicely, so the Ashcharya, the wonderful, can be attached to the soul or the person. So if it's attached to the soul, which is what Prabhupada is writing, some look on the soul as amazing. So is the quality of a soul as amazing. Some describe soul as amazing. Some hear of soul as amazing, while others, even after hearing about soul, cannot understand soul at all. So the first Ashara, first level, we can understand what Prabhupada is writing here. But there's another level what Mataji was explaining. Ashara can also be attached to the person. Some amazing persons see the soul. They are transcendentalists. Shukdev Goswami Mataji explained, given examples, and some amazing person described the soul. They are the Atmagyanis. They are also very high people because they are describing. So you can read 3 Sanskrit words very easy. Pashyati means to see, Vadati means to say, Shrunoti means to hear. So there are 3 levels here. So Pashyati, Vadati, and Shrunoti. And the 4th one is Shrutvapi Enam Vedana Chaiva Kasyat. So those people are amazing who even after understanding, listening all this, do not understand anything about the soul. And they don't believe it. They say, oh, you're all from the old village, old school. So we can have 2 different levels of translations here. But the point here is the knowledge of soul is not very common. It's rare and not everyone will understand. Even Krishna is accepting it. Prabhupada came to West. He preached to thousands of people, but not everyone became a serious devotee. Many heard Prabhupada lectures and they were interested in it, but they could not continue it. Many heard, took it very, very seriously. Many heard, took it very, very seriously and became gurus actually. Prabhupada made 10,000 disciples. Now Prabhupada disciples, many of them, I should name it, but they're making more disciples than Prabhupada. One has 50,000 disciples, one has 40,000 disciples. So they are really amazing people, amazing people. They took this knowledge so seriously. But the 4th category always existed even in the past and even today. Even the past people were there who were not believing the knowledge of soul. We see the example, I just remembering Charvak Muni. Charvak Muni was one of the atheist sadhus from India, and he used to say, I can't remember the verse in Sanskrit. Even if you have to take the debt and drink ghee. He was saying like there is a verse, if anyone knows who can share. Gitam Pritva. So basically saying Pitwa means ghee piyo. Rid leke bhi ghee piyo. Even if you have to take a debt, drink ghee. So someone says in the verse itself, it says, but if you have to take debt and drink ghee, then you have to repay the debt. He says, who cares about repaying the debt? But then a person says, then you have to be karmically liable for that. And even if you die, if you have not paid the debt, you have to come back and pay back the debt. So he said, who has seen the life after that? Just drink the ghee and enjoy the life. So this is one of the rishis in India. There's a famous verse, Prabhupada quotes it actually. Prabhupada quotes it in his writings. So he said, just enjoy the life. So one of the Prabhupada disciples was asking Prabhupada, Prabhupada is an Indian rishi and is talking about, enjoying the life and drink ghee and all that. So Prabhupada was upset actually because this disciple was sort of criticizing. Prabhupada was also defending, Indian culture and Indian people, Indian rishis. He says it was the rishi of India. That's why he was talking about drinking ghee. If he was the rishi of America, he will talk about drinking alcohol. So at least Bharat ka rishi is talking about drinking ghee. He's not talking about drinking alcohol. So the point here is even in the past, these people existed who were not the believer of the knowledge of soul and the Vedas. We have atheistic Kapila as well. So we have a Kapil Muni, the incarnation of the Lord in 3rd canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. There's another atheistic Kapila as well. Prabhupada also talks about it. So these 4 categories always existed. It's not just today. Some people don't believe it. They always existed in the past. And Krishna is explaining that category as well. And that's why preaching is important. We need to preach, we need to share this knowledge with others, and Krishna will explain the importance of preaching this knowledge by himself in 1870 when we reach there. Okay, let's move forward. Prabhupada also writes, I'm just reading, Katha Upanishad have a similar verse. So Katha Upanishad Prabhupada quotes many, many times. Okay, 30th verse is the last verse of this section. Who is next? Vijay Gopi Mataji Rasanan Prabhu. Would you like to do 230?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Read the translation first. O descendant of Bharata, he who dwells in the body can never be slain. Therefore, you need not grieve for any living being. Okay, this is the last verse in this section. So Krishna is concluding that the one which lives, the Dehi and Deha, he mentioned Dehi is the soul, who is the owner of the body. No, that cannot mean the soul cannot be destroyed. It's nityam, it's eternal, and it cannot be killed. So he uses the term avadyo.
Yeah. So vad means to kill. Avadya means cannot be killed.
Cannot be killed.
Yeah.
So sarvasya. So it's applicable for everyone. So it's not just only for you. It's applicable for everyone. Tasmad sarvam. Therefore, for all living entities, bhutani. So this is applicable that the body only dwindles, or whereas the soul cannot be slain, cannot be killed. Therefore, you need not grieve for any living entity.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Very nice. So Prabhu has nicely explained the two qualities of the soul. We explained here. Nityam is eternal, is always existing. Avadhya. Vadhya, avadhya, cannot be killed. What means you can kill someone? Like we have word Ayodhya. So Yuddha and Ayodhya. Ayodhya means you cannot fight with them. So you cannot fight with the king of Ayodhya, basically. That's what is Ayodhya. And there are multiple meanings as well. So this is external meaning. So Ayodhya, Avadhya, very nice, a very simple words. Tasma, therefore, Sarvani Bhutani, and this is applicable to all living entities. And I think I discussed about Christianity here as well. So Christianity, they have a different consideration. In Buddhism, they have different consideration. Judaism, they have different consideration. So they have the conception of soul, but not so clear. In Buddhism, at least one point we can talk, because it says Dehe Sarvasya Bharata, it is applicable for all the Dehas. Whoever has a body will be having a Dehi, the owner of the body, and this is applicable for all of them. What they consider human souls take reincarnation, not the plants and animal souls. That's why we can kill animals. That's what they say. So this soul is not, and sometimes the misinterpretation say even that they don't even have the soul. So you kill a cow because they don't have a soul, so you can kill the cow. But here Krishna very clearly using the word Sarvani Bhutani, Sarvasya Bharata, Sarvani Bhutani, all the Bhutas, every single living entity has the similar soul which will pass through the same process, Nitya and Avadhya. That's why you should not Natum Sochitam Arasi. So you see this Sochitam, Natum Sochitam Arasi getting repeated again and again and again. So that's why we can say this is the whole theme of do not lament. Arjun, do not lament. I'll just go back to our PDF file here. So we have read, say, two sections here. So if you can see on this, Arjun surrenders 2.1 to 2.10. Second was Jnana, which we are reading right now. So 2:11 to 2:30 defeats the compassion argument of Arjuna. Everyone is clear on that? Why we should not be compassionate for the body? Because this time, after taking all the context, they are the soul, and you cannot kill the soul, because soul is everlasting, it's ever existing. And we read so many qualities of the soul throughout the section. Now Krishna will start the second section of this chapter. Okay, third in that series, second in Krishna's instruction. So it is called Karma Kanda, which is 231 to 237. Arjun was talking about how I'm going to enjoy. So Krishna will give the answers of defeat, enjoyment, and sinful reactions. So these two arguments will be covered in this section. Sinful reactions will also be overlapped in the third section, the Buddhi Yoga. So let's start reading 231. I think we have done 2 verses there already. Let's do that. Okay, so Vijay Gopi Mataji, would you like to do 30?
Yes, Prabhu.
31.
Considering your specific duty as a Kshatriya, you should know that there is no better engagement for you than fighting on religious principles. And so there is no need for hesitation. Here Krishna is very direct to Arjuna that he should fight. And here na become is like he is saying that you should not shake away from your duty. And he's also talking about the Swadharma. Swadharma is like the religious principle, and Arjuna's religious principle is to fight because he is a Kshatriya.
Thank you, Mataji. Nice gist. Just add a few more things here. So dharma, so Swa means own, dharma means religious principles, as Mataji said. So it can apply on a multiple level. So here what we are talking, Arjun as a Kshatriya. Now Swadharma can also belong to the soul. What is the dharma of the body can be different from the dharma of the soul. When you talk about dharma of the body, like you're a male, you're a female, you're a housewife, you're a father. So there are different duties which will belong to your that sort of situation of the soul in that body. So if you're a father, you have to, go out and earn a livelihood and bring some honest money to home. And the mothers will maintain the house and look after the children and all those things. So this dharma is also a swadharma. This is your prescribed duty. But is this dharma belong to the soul? No, because in the soul level, you're neither the male, you're not the female, you're not a mother, you're not a wife, or you're not a father. This doesn't belong. This only belongs to the body. So what we are talking here is swadharma, means dharma of the body where you are in right now. So Arjun is in which body right now? The Kshatriya body, in a male body, in a Kshatriya body. So what is his dharma? Second line, dharmyadhi, dharma yuddha. So you have to do the fight for the religious sake. The dharma yuddha is called. The dharma ke liye yuddha. So you have to fight for a religious war. So because this is a religious war, which we have proved earlier, we'll not say it again, we should not become pitum. We should not tremble upon that. So if you remember from the first chapter, Arjun was saying, my body is trembling, my Gandiva is slipping from my hand. So that external trembling is due to internal weakness, isn't it? So what Krishna is saying, your internal weakness is because you're confused. Don't become confused, don't tremble. Because if you're internally firm, then you have no problem externally, isn't it? I'm just remembering example, when you go to an interview, sometimes you have butterfly in your tummy, your hands, you'll feel very cold. You feel some uncomfortable situation. You're the exactly same person. You're just sitting on a sofa, waiting for your turn to go inside. And you see all these bodily changes. Why does it happen? Because of your mental changes. You're expecting something unexpected, something which you're not familiar with. You're thinking about, oh, will I do good? Will I not do good? You may be the best person if you are betting. I'm remembering Sachin Tendulkar. That's the only one probably I know. So sometimes, when Sachin gets bored on a 0 run or maybe a few runs, he says, "Arey yaar, kaise mara?" You should have shot like this. So saying is very, very easy. Once you're in that field in front of 10,000 people and there's opposing team is there, it's very difficult, very, very difficult. Situations are very difficult. So what you're sitting on your couch and instructing Sachin, you should have batted in that direction or this direction, you should have bowled like that. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. So it's very, very difficult. So due to our internal weaknesses, we express our external actions. So because Arjun was weak, that's why he was trembling. So he's saying, Napi kampitum. From what perspective he's saying? Swadharma mapi. From your duty, you should not shake. And what is your duty? You're a Kshatriya. This is a religious war. You should fight. Now, one more thing which you should take from this particular verse. Now, you see in the previous verse or till the previous verses for last 20 verses, Krishna is talking on the soul level. He is not talking about the bodily level at all. Now, here he's starting to talk about the bodily level. What's the relation between the previous section and this section? So previous section, you can say, okay, I'm not the body, I'm the soul. I agree with that. While I'm in the body, I have to live it, isn't it? I can't say, okay, I'm the soul, so I should not eat, I should not breathe, I should not do this and that. I have my kids, I have to look after my kids, I have my job and all those things. I have to do all this, right? So Krishna is saying, yes, that's fine. So you have a bodily duty and you have a duty for the soul. How do you combine these two? They should both work in a harmonious way. So Krishna is not denying the body, Krishna is not denying the duties of the body, or we are saying we should harmoniously do both the duties. So he's spoken about the soul, he has given the knowledge about the soul. He's saying, Natum sochitam arasi, you should not lament, but you have a body, you have to do the duties, do your duty. And what's the duty here? Swadharma. What's the Swadharma of Arjuna here? Kshatriya sena vidyate. There is no better dharma for a Kshatriya than to fight in a religious war. Is that clear? So that's how he's moving upwards now. He's given the knowledge of the soul. Now Arjuna is saying, okay, I'm the body, what should I do with the body right now? Do your duty with the body. So that also shows us we should all do our duty wherever we are. Whatever the Shastra prescribes, we should do that duty, because by doing that duty, we get uplifted. By Arjuna doing his duty, he gets uplifted. Okay, let's move forward to the next one, 232. We have Amar Prabhu and Kanishka Mataji. Hare Krishna. Any one of you would like to do 232?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
I'll try to do it, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu.
Yada cha chopana nam.
Prabhu, you can just read the translation. We have already done it, and just main points.
O Partha, happy are the Kshatriyas to whom such fighting opportunities come unsought, opening for them the doors of the heavenly planet. Over here, what we discussed last time, Prabhuji, was even if there are a lot of Kshatriyas, but not many people get the opportunity, what Arjuna is getting the opportunity, because all that he has to do is follow the instruction and fight the enemies for the dharma. So when he does for the dharma, in either case, if he kills the other people, the enemies, still he will get the kingdom where he can rule nicely and still go to the Swarga. But at the same time, even if he doesn't, even if he's fighting with the enemies and he gets killed, still he will get the Swarga because he is fighting for the Dharma and he has given his life towards the religious things. That's what Krishna is trying to explain over here.
Yeah, thank you, Prabhuji. Very nice. Just we can add one or two Sanskrit words here. Yadrachaya. Yadrachaya means apne aap, automatic. Huh? You haven't done any effort for it. It came to you. Like Arjun did any effort to make the war happen? Actually, he did the effort other way. Huh? He didn't want war to happen. Even when he came down to the war, he didn't want to fight because he's a very soft-natured person, as being a Vaishnava. So Yadrachaya, so it was imposed upon him, right? So generally speaking, as I was explaining last week as well, Kshatriya, just talking on the bodily level and bodily dharma, so they live a very pious life, they do nice things for the citizens, and they follow the dharma very properly, they look after their family, they look after citizens as their family, do all the good things, they take the tax, they do all the good things for the citizen, and eventually they go back to Swargaloka because they have done so much pious activity in that life. But if Kshatriya goes for a war in between his lifetime and there he dies, Shastra prescribes, then also he goes back to Swargaloka. Huh? He's just talking a limited scenario here. Huh? So what Krishna is saying, Yadrachaya chopapannam sargadaram bhavapratam. So this opportunity which is unsought, you didn't find for it, right? If you consider the goal of a Kshatriya is to go back to Swargaloka, you are getting Swargaloka earlier, isn't it? Suppose you are going from here to New York or wherever, and the journey is on the ship as Prabhupada came. I'm looking at Prabhupada's photo here on the Zoom. So Prabhupada went from India to America on a ship. It took something, 2 months or something like that, huh? 40 days journey, something like that. But if you have a shortcut to go to America, will you not prefer that? Huh? Prabhupada couldn't afford a ticket that time, so Prabhupada had to take that voyage. But if you have a shortcut, so here Krishna is saying there's a shortcut for you, which is automatically has happened. You didn't even try for it. Yadricha, it has come automatically. Swargaram, this opportunity will open the door of Swarga for you. Sukhina Kshatriya Partha. And by this Kshatriya, you, Sukhina, you'll be very happy. Lavante Yuddham Vidasham. There's a lot of benefits. So initially, you remember Arjun was saying there's a lose-lose situation. If I win the kingdom, if I win the war, then I have to kill all my relatives, and how I'm going to enjoy without them. So Krishna is saying, actually, you will enjoy by fighting. Krishna is not talking yet as winning or getting defeated. What he's saying, if you fight and die, you'll go to Swargaloka, because what you're going to achieve after your life, you're going to achieve it right now. So Yadrachaya Chopapannam Sargadwaram Pavratam. Sukhina Kshatriya Partha Labante Yuddham Idisham. This types of Yuddha is very rare. Okay, let's move forward. And then we start today's discussion. Verse 33. Kanishka Mataji, would you like to try? If you like.
Yes, Prabhuji, I'd like to. Atha chetvam imam damyam.
Atha chetvam imam dharmyam.
Sangramam na karishyasi.
Sangramam na karishyasi.
Tatha swadharman kirtim cha.
Tatha swadharmam kirtim cha.
Kitva papam avapyasi.
Hitva papam avapsyasi.
If, however, you do not perform this religious duty of fighting, then you will certainly incur sins for neglecting your duties and thus lose your reputation as a fighter.
Thank you, Mataji. Your grip on Sanskrit is quite good, actually. Although you probably have no
I
background.
don't feel so, Prabhu. I always get very nervous. I can't do it.
No. It's quite
There's a
good,
good-
actually.
There's a good reason for watching lots of Hindi films. So.
Ah, okay, good. No, your pronunciation of Sanskrit is pretty close to perfection. So very good. Thank you, Mataji. So atha chetvam imam dharmam. Atha chetvam imam. But if you do not follow your religious duty, your prescribed duty right now, sangramam refers to the battle, na karishyasi, if you do not fight, which is your duty, right? So atha chetvam imam dharmam. Sangramam na karishyasi. Dharma sangram. So again, the word is used, dharma sangram, the religious war. This is what I think I was discussing from the Islamic perspective last week. Jihad is a big topic in itself, but jihad means a religious war. This is not what it means, what we are doing today. A religious war you should fight. Religious war means to protect your dharma, to protect your cities, and for the right reason, you are allowed to fight. This is what Krishna is also mentioning here. But if you do not fight this war, religious war, what will happen? The result is explained in the next line, line 3 and 4. Two things will happen. Tata swadharmam kirti. Swadharma refers to your dharma of fighting. If you will not do kirti, you're very, very famous right now, but if you do not do your duty right now, what will happen? Kirti, your fame will go away. What else will happen? What else will happen? Hitva papam avapsyasi, and you will also incur sinful reactions. So two things will happen. Your kirti will go, your fame will go, and you'll also incur sinful reactions. Why you will have while you incur sinful reaction? Just imagine a scenario. If you are a doctor or a police person, say a doctor, if a person next to you is dying and you can treat that person, but if you don't treat, you think, I'm not going to do it because, I'm not getting paid for it. It's not my duty. If the person dies, actually it's a crime. It's a crime because you become negligent to that person whom you could save. So there's a duty of negligence. So negligence by duty. So you had the ability to save someone and you did not save that person. So that's also considered a crime in that sense. So if you do not do your duty, what will happen? You will lose your kirti, you will lose your fame, as well as you will get pap. You remember in the first chapter, Arjuna was saying, if I kill them, I will get pap. But what Krishna is saying, exactly opposite now. Hitva papam avapsyasi. Actually, you will get pap by not fighting. Now, Krishna is not saying killing or not killing it. You do your duty. And this will lead to a very nice verse, which we'll see 247 later. So you should do your duty. So Krishna is saying, do your duty. What is your duty right now as a Kshatriya? Prescribed duty, fight in the religious war. So achetvam imam dharmam sangramam na karishyasi. If you do not do sangram, you do not fight, which is your dharma, swadharma, you will lose your kirti as well as you get pap. I'll read Prabhupada's translation again. If, however, you do not perform your religious duty of fighting, then you'll certainly incur sins for neglecting your duties and thus lose your reputation as a fighter. It's a very straightforward verse, but pretty instructive verse. You should do your duty. Next one, we have Jai Prakash Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Dandavat.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. 234.
Akirtim chapi bhutani.
Akirtim chapi bhutani.
Katha yashyanti te avyayam.
Kathiyashyanti te dvayam.
Sambhavati tasya.
Sambhavitasya chakirtir.
Kirtir. Maranad atirachate.
Maranad atir uchate.
People will always speak of your infamy, and for a respectable person, dishonor is worse than the death.
Yeah, that's also a verse full of principles. So akirtim chapi bhutani. Bhutani refers to the living entity. Living entity, kathiyashyanti, kathana, kehna, to say. Bhutani, living entities, Katishanti, they will say, what they will say, Akirtim, your infamy. So people will talk about your infamy. And you know how if you do a small, not a very nice act, people talk about that more often than when you do a very good act, people will not talk about you. Huh? But if you do some mistake, a little mistake even if they perceive you have done a mistake, they will talk more about it, isn't it? Now, Krishna is not sort of recommending this, but Krishna is just sort of reporting a universal truth. This is a universal truth. लोगों को gossip करने में बहुत मजा आती है. People love gossiping, isn't it? People love to talk about all the things which has went wrong. Any celebrity affairs, any celebrities taking drugs or this and that. You see the magazines and website and news. This person is going there, that person is going there, and this is wearing that, and that person is wearing that. They always talking these gossips. So this is the universal truth Krishna is reporting in this particular line. Akirtim chapi bhutani katishanti te avyayam. So avyaya refers to where means to spend. Avyaya means which cannot be spent. So how long they will talk about avyayam? For very, very long time. Avyayam. For long time they will talk about your akirti. Sambhavitasya chakirtir maranad atit uchate. Sambhavitasya chakirti. So if a person who is a respectable person in the society, for that respectable person, akirti or infamy is worse than the death. Chanakya also talks about it. A respectable person, if he has to give a punishment, especially for a Brahmana, I said, Brahman should never be given a capital punishment. Capital punishment means death sentence. Brahmana, no matter what he has done, he should not be given a capital punishment. What we can do to a Brahmana? It says take his sampatti, take his wealth, or give some insulting words to a Brahmana. You remember in Ashwatthama case what happened when he came in front of Draupadi? Ashwatthama was brought by Arjuna after he killed his sleeping sons. Anyway, long story short, so Draupadi said, don't kill him. And Bhima was saying, kill him, kill him. And there was sort of a disagreement between two parties. So there was a party of Draupadi. Yudhishthira also saying, leave him. Draupadi was saying, leave him. But Bhima was saying, oh, you're all emotional. He has killed 5 of our sleeping sons, innocent sons. He should be killed. But Krishna said to Arjuna, you should do something which pleases me, which pleases Draupadi, and which also pleases your own vow which you had taken in the morning. So the vow Arjuna had taken in the morning, I will get the head of the person. So he got the head. He did not say cut head. He said, I'll get the head of the person. So he got that vow. And what Bhima was saying, kill him. And what Draupadi was saying, don't kill him. So he said, do something. The Arjuna understood the mind of Krishna. What Arjuna did? He shaved his head in a very, weird way. Now today, if you shave like that, people will praise you. They will click your photo, put it to the Facebook. You'll get 1,000 likes. And that will become a popular hairstyle. And if you have to get it done, you have to pay $200 for that. But that time, doing that thing was like an insult to Ashwatthama, who was a Brahman. An insult of a Brahmana was actually like a death sentence. And that's why Ashwatthama became more angry after. Then he tried to kill Parikshit as well, which Krishna saved again. So the point which Krishna is making here, Prabhupada is making here, that for a respectable person, infamy is worse than the death. This is as per the Shastra. And you are a very respectable person. Your kirti, your fame is everywhere. Even Indra appreciated Arjun. Lord Shiva appreciated Arjun. When Arjun went to Swargloka, Indra offered him his own seat. He said, Indra offered his seat while he was sitting on the seat. So Indra and Arjun shared the same singhasan, same throne. So that Indra had never done before. So so much fame Arjun had. So, but now if you run away, what will happen? People will talk about your akirti. For how long? For very, very long time. And that will be worse than the death for you. Okay. There's one little pastime in Mahabharata I'll share. Many of you would know. Karna, okay, it's a long story. I don't know where to start. To keep it short, Karna and Yudhishthira had a fight one day. And in that fight, Karna had an opportunity to kill Yudhishthira. So he fought with Yudhishthira, and Yudhishthira could not handle Karna that day. Anyway, Karna had an opportunity to kill Yudhishthira, but he did not. And Yudhishthira was almost about to die. And his Sarthi, his chariot driver, brought the Ratha, the chariot, in the camp back just to save the life of Yudhishthir. Yudhishthir was still conscious, but he was very angry at Karna. Obviously, he's a Kshatriya. So Arjun heard about it in the battlefield. So he left the battlefield and he came back to the camp to see his brother, that how's my brother? Because there was a fierce battle between Yudhishthir and Karna. So as soon as Arjun entered into the camp, Yudhishthir was still in angry mood, asked Arjun, so have you killed that Sutputra Karna? So Arjun said, no, I have not killed him yet. I just heard about you and I came here to see you. Yudhishthir was very angry and he said, oh, you are a very important person. You should not carry your Gandhi. You should give up your Gandhi because you're just showing off the Gandhi. You should have killed that Sutputra and then come and see me. You know, it was just in that mode, you know, if someone is not well, sometimes they may say something which may not be appropriate. Anyway, so as soon as Arjun heard that, Arjun became very upset and he started taking his sword out. Now, Arjun was with Krishna. So Krishna saying, why are you taking your sword out? Arjun said, I have taken a vow. Whoever will say that I should give up my Gandiv, I will chop his head off. So here Yudhishthir had said that you should not carry the Gandhi because you're not worthy of carrying the Gandhi. When I have taken a vow, I'll kill that person straight away. So that's why I'm taking the sword out. And Krishna is like, really? You're going to kill Yudhishthir Maharaj, your own brother, in the battlefield? He said, I'm sorry, it's not appropriate, I know, but I have to kill because I've taken a vow. And Krishna is like, you Kshatriyas and your vows, you know, every time they take a vow, and Krishna has to sort it out. So Krishna said to Arjun, you can kill your brother by a different means. He said, how would I kill my brother without chopping off his head with the sword? He said, you can disrespect the elders. If you disrespect your elder whom you have respected so much, it will be worse than the death for that elder. So that moment, first and last time in the life of Arjun, Arjun said something against Yudhishthir Maharaj within the camp, within the Pandava camp, and he said, you are saying I'm not a Kshatriya. Actually, you are not a Kshatriya. You gambled your wife, you gambled your brother, you gambled all of our wealth and Rajya and the kingdom. We lost everything because of you. We had to live in the forest, and you know, you're not a proper Kshatriya at all. When Yudhishthir heard that, he was very hurt. He was very, very hurt because Yudhishthir is another level devotee, He was so much hurt. And Krishna said, okay, stop, enough. You have killed him enough. Now just stop. So Arjun stopped at that time. He put the sword back. Just after a few seconds, he again took the sword out. And Krishna is like, ab kya hai? What's now? And he said, I have disrespected my brother who is like my father. I have never disrespected him in my whole life. Because I have disrespected him, I have to kill myself. And Krishna is like, I don't know what to do with you guys. So then Krishna said to Arjun, another principle. So Krishna is teaching principle through these great souls. So first principle was you never disrespect your elder. Even if they say something wrong, you should never even by words answer them back. That's the first principle. Second principle is teaching through Arjun. He's saying, if you can kill yourself by not killing yourself with a sword. He said, how can I kill myself? So there's a verse in Mahabharata, I can't remember the verse, but the verse says, if you praise yourself, that's like killing yourself. So praising yourself. Now, how many times we praise ourselves? Just think about it. So whenever you praise yourself, think about this incident which Krishna is telling to Arjuna. So you're in Hindi, blowing your own trumpet in English, blowing your own trumpet. That's actually committing suicide. So we should never blow. Others can praise you. We should not praise ourselves. If we're praising ourselves, that's called pride. And it says pride comes before fall. So pride is not what we want. We all have it, that's fine, but we are in the journey of purifying our pride. Pride sometimes in our journey is there, we accept it, but we purify it. We purify it by listing the glories of Krishna. And when we compare our glories with Krishna's glories, we find our glories are very, very tiny, extremely tiny. First, we don't have any glories. Even if you think we have some glories, they're very tiny. And that tiny bit also will last how long? For a very tiny time slot. Tomorrow morning, you may be a different person. We don't know. The person who will sleep today may not get up tomorrow. Even if you get up, you may have lost your memory. You may have got a paralysis in your hand, or you may not be able to speak rest of your life. Anything can happen, any moment. So our glories are not so much. And those glories can only last for few days, few years, and Krishna can take them away any moment. Krishna is the owner of all these so-called glories, whatever we have. That's why we should give always credit to our Guru and Krishna. And then we are in safe hands. Whatever you do, devotees can praise you. Very nice service you have done. Thank you. All the glories to my Guru Maharaj and to the devotees, because the credit actually belongs to them, not to us, because we are not the owner. We are just a fake person in the middle, fake person. And Krishna can make many nice things happen through you if you don't have pride. Anyway, so Krishna said to Arjun, you can do Atma Shlaka, praise yourself, and that's how you will kill yourself. Then Arjun started praising himself. I am the person who has satisfied Lord Shiva in the Yuddha. I've gone to Indraloka, I've gone to Amravati, I've sat next to Indra. And he said, I'm carrying the Gandhi, which no one else can carry. So he was praising himself. And Krishna said, okay, enough. So two principles Krishna is saying, basically, we should never praise ourselves. Others can praise genuinely, and that's fine. You may perform a service, others can praise. Don't reject it. But take the credit and give it to the real owner. So we are just a messenger. You can take the credit as a messenger. See what you say, you have done nice service. Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you for the nice appreciation. But I am not the owner. So take the appreciation, give it to the real owner, because Guru is making us do that right thing. Our Guru has given that a skill. And if we become the perfect via media, this body, whatever long this body is going to last, Guru can make us do so many wonderful things which we are beyond our imagination. Prabhupada said, I never imagined this much success. Prabhupada made one day when Guru Maharaj was saying in the lecture, he made a little pirugat. Pirugat means like a small shape. He said, I was like a coal. Prabhupada said, I was like a coal, but my Guru Maharaj made me a diamond. Prabhupada said, and he said, my Guru Maharaj made me a diamond. So he could identify. He said, yeah, it's a lot of success. And he said, I never imagined this much success. And he said, many of my other God brothers were more eligible than me. They were more scholarly than me. But my Guru Maharaj chose me. He's so nice. So Prabhupada was giving all the credit to his Guru Maharaj. One day Prabhupada is in Vrindavan. You read in Leelamrit. So one devotee came from another temple, not Radha Damoda temple, another temple, and he gave Prabhupada a Maha garland of that deities. So Prabhupada respected the garland, he accepted the garland, he did not wear the garland. And he touched the garland on his head and he ran in his room. So this person asked, where are you going, Prabhupada? He said, I'm going to offer this garland to my Guru Maharaj first, and then I will accept. So he could not forget his Guru Maharaj even for a second. When he received the Maha garland, first he offers to his Guru Maharaj, and then he said, then I will accept. So he was very happy to receive the garland, but he offered to his Guru. So whenever we receive something nice, we should offer to Guru. My Guru Maharaj has arranged everything for this. I'm not eligible. And then you will see so many wonderful things happen in our life. So many, which we cannot imagine. If we have a capacity of lifting 10 kilo, Krishna can make you lift 1,000 kilos because you're the perfect via media, and Krishna loves you. Okay, so let's move to the next one. Some principles in this verse. 235. We have Sumit Prabhu and Sonia Mataji. Any one of you can read?
Bhayadranad upartam.
Bhayadranad uparatam.
Mamasyante tvam maharatha.
Mansante tvam maharatha.
Yesham cha tvam bahumato.
Yesham cha tvam bahumato.
Bhutva yasyasi laghavam.
Bhutva yasyasi laghavam.
The great generals who have highly esteemed your name and fame will think that you have left the battlefield out of fear only, and thus they will consider you insignificant.
Yeah, so similar thought theme is flowing in this verse. Bhayad ranad uparatam. So bhayad means bhay, fear. Ranad means the battlefield. Uparatam. If you run away from the battlefield, manyanse tvam maharatha. So manyanse means mante hain, their opinion. Maharatha. So maharatha, the big fighters which have an opinion about you. Yesham chatam bahumato. They consider you a big person. So we'll read the second and the third line together. Mamsyante tvam maharatha. So maharathas, the great fighters in that battlefield, tvam bahumato, they consider you as a very big person, very mighty person. They will think, bhayad ranad uparatam. They will think you have run away from the battlefield out of what? Not out of compassion, out of bhaya, out of fear. And what they will think about you, the fourth line, bhutva yasyasi lagvam. Lagvam means chota. Lava means it's small. So they will consider you, right now they consider you Bahumato, they consider you a great person, but they will think you have run away from the battlefield out of what? Fear. They will not see your inside, and they will consider you as Laghavam. They will consider, oh, this is a very small person. I thought he's a big person. You know, when your expectation about someone who can do a 4-hour kirtan or against Sachin Tendulkar, for example, who can make 100 plus runs, and he get out for whatever reasons in 3 runs or 4 runs. What do you think? Oh, I thought he's a great person, but he's not so great. Huh? So in the battlefield, the person who considers you as a great person will not consider you as a great person. What they will consider you as a small person, as Laghavam, and they will sing your unglories, not glories, for very, very long time. Okay. So one more principles our acharyas describe in this particular verse. Very nice. So there are 3 things here. So one is your action, one is your intention, and one is others' perceptions. Huh? So one is the actions, whatever you perform, that's an action which others see. And then they perceive something about you, why you have performed this particular action. Do they see your intentions? Can they read your mind? Not really, isn't it? So their intention by which you perform an action, but there's a perception. Now your intention can be very nice, but just by looking at the action, they cannot read your intention, and what they will read your action, and they give you a judgment about you based on your action. Is that clear? So based on your action, people give judgment. Huh? People perceive about you. Suppose you are eating a lot today. So others will say, look at such a glutton. Huh? He's overeating. He's eating 10 chapatis. Now but if the same person is eating a lot, what do you say? Oh, I'm so hungry. I'm so hungry. But if we see others eating, they'll say, oh, he's an overeater. Huh? If you are sleeping a lot, you'll say, oh, Prabhu, I'm so tired. But if others are sleeping, look at that person. He's always like sleeping like a Kumbhakaran. Huh? He's sleeping for the last 12 hours. Huh? But you don't know the situation of that person. He may have a disease. He may be very tired. Maybe something is happening, but we don't usually see the intentions of the person. So in modern terminology, it's called attributional error. Attributional error means giving a judgment to a person just based on his action, not identifying his intention. Just based on the action, we give perception. And how many times this happens? All the time, almost all the time. Your very loved ones, very close ones will see your intentions, but everyone else, what they will see? Your action. Many times, that's why it says we should not perform an action which will make others doubt in you. Because if they doubt in you, they don't have trust in you, then you can't do the things properly. But many times you have to do certain actions which are completely opposite to what others will perceive, but you still have to do it. For example, Sridhar Maharaj gives very nicely. Sridhar Maharaj, who has given the commentary on Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu praised him a lot. He said, it's a Sanskrit verse. He said, if your actions are like that, which people see and they glorify you, the whole world appreciates you, they garland you, they talk about you, every single newspaper website has your name at the top. But Krishna doesn't like that action. Should we perform that action? Everyone will praise you except Krishna. But Krishna, no, that's not such a nice action. On the other hand, if everyone disglorifies you, everyone spits at you, but Krishna appreciates that action, Sridhar Maharaj said, I would like to do that action. So many times people perceive different things differently. Sometimes we have to worry about them. Sometimes we don't have to worry about them because this is better for my service of my Guru and Krishna. I should do that. I should not be fearful of the people because as far as I'm aligned with Sadhu, Shastra, and Guru, I'm fine. I don't have to please every single person of the whole world. And we can't. You see, even Krishna technically could not please every single person, isn't it? He went as a Shantidut. Could he convince Duryodhan? Hanuman went. Could he convince Ravan? Now, there are multiple reasons behind each of these incidents, but in one perspective, they could not. They could not. Now, Krishna is technically powerful enough to convince Duryodhan. Duryodhan even says in Mahabharata, Janami dharmam na Janami dharmam na chame pravritti, janami adharam na chame nivritti. I know what the dharma is, but I cannot follow it. And I know what adharma is, but I cannot quit it. Janami dharmam, I know the dharma, na chame pravritti, but I don't have any pravritti. I don't have inclination to follow the dharma. Janami adharmam, I know what adharma is, what irreligious principles are. Na chame nivritti, I cannot get out of it. So Krishna can do anything. Krishna can do anything. He is the owner of everyone, of every single situation. But even that Krishna, practically speaking, cannot convince. You take the example of Kansa, Bakasur, Aghasur, Putana. All these demons came. Jarasan, there's so many other demons, right? They had a fight with Krishna. Barnasur, Tripurasur, so many demons. They are having a fight with Krishna. Now you'll say, oh, they're all souls, kids of Krishna. Yes, Bhaumasur, he's actually the son of Krishna. Bhaumasur or Narkasur, you must have heard in the Bhagavatam past time. He is the son of Krishna and Prithvi Devi. Krishna himself had to kill his own son. So that's another lesson, you know. Hiranyakashipu's son can become Prahlad, and Krishna's son can become Narkasur. This is the power of association. Prahlad got association of Narad Muni, and Narkasur or Bhaumasur got the association of Jarasan and Kansa. So he became a demon. Krishna has to personally kill the son. So it's all about association. Anyway, so these three things, which is perception, action, and intention, as much as possible, we should try to align. But as much as we are aligned with Sadhu, Shastra, and Guru, we are under the instruction of Vaishnavas, we are doing our service nicely. Even if people are against of that, we should not be fearful of those actions. We should perform. But generally speaking, we should try, because people are not able to see your intention. All they see is your action, and based on the action, they have the perception. So what is Arjuna's action? Get out of the battlefield. That's the action. What the perception will be? Oh, he's getting out for what purpose? Bhayad ranad uparatam. He's running out of fear. But your intention is what? I am becoming compassionate. Who's seeing your intention? Maybe only Krishna, no one else. So we should try to align as much as possible. But for our service, if people's perceptions are different, it doesn't matter. Prabhupada also had to do so much, actions in such a way which was aligned with Shastra, but not with his God brothers. And many God brothers criticized Prabhupada for certain actions, but Prabhupada did what he had to do. So, which we have to do. But generally speaking, we should try to align. Okay. 236. Who's next in our series? Sakhi Radhika Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Avachya vadamscha bahun.
Avachya vadamscha bahun.
Vadishyanti tavahita.
Vadishyanti tavahita.
Nindantastva samarthyayam.
Nindanasta samarthyam.
Tato dukha taram nukim.
Tato dukha taram nukim.
Your enemies will describe you in many unkind words and scorn your ability. What could be more painful for you?
So avachya vadans. Avachya Prabhupada says unkind. Vadan means words. So they will describe you with unkind words. And it says in Mahabharata, if Arjun, Krishna says to Arjun, if you are running away from the battlefield, people will call you as impotent. Look at this. He's very fearful person, isn't it? So people say unkind words very, very quickly, very, very quickly. How many people say kind words? Only devotees say kind words. Otherwise, people find the opportunity to make some sarcastic comments, isn't it? Especially you see, back in our country, many people will make sarcastic remarks on you, and they become very pleased. When you cannot answer back, they become very pleased. So people are very good in speaking unkind words without knowing your original situation. I remember Sakhi Radhika Mataji a few weeks ago was mentioning Madhav Gopal Prabhu as well. He's talking about devotees. So he said we should become non-judgmental. We should become non-judgmental. We should not give judgment on others immediately. Unless this is our role, this is our service. And most of the time, this is not our service, but we still give the judgment on others. We immediately reach to the conclusion. This is what Krishna is saying. Avachya vadansh. So bahun. How many unkind words? Bahun. Lot of unkind words they will say. Vadishyanti tavahita. For you, they will speak lot of unkind words. Nindanasta samarthyam. Samarthyam is ability. Actually, you are very able person. He was a very able person. He could satisfy Lord Shiva in the battle. His ability is very, very, very high. But to that able person, what they will say? Nindanasta. They will do ninda. They will do criticism of you. And Prabhupada says, scorn your ability. They will doubt your ability. I think you're not able to fight and you're running away from out of fear. Arjun said, no, I'm not running away out of fear. I'm become compassionate. But what they will say, come on, you're an important person. You can't fight. You remember there's another incident in Mahabharata, in Rajasuya Yajna. when Shishupal was criticizing Krishna, and he was also criticizing Bhishma Pitama. Now, Bhishma Pitama, everyone knows, he was a Naishtik brahmachari. He never got married because he had taken a vow. Anyway, Shishupal said to Bhishma on this particular point, he's not a celibate. Actually, he's impotent. And as soon as Bhishma heard that, he actually woke up from his chair. How dare you say that? Huh? Suppose you have a lot of ability. I'm looking at, say, Amar Prabhu, example. He's such a wonderful cook. And someone criticizes him. Prabhu, you can't even make a tea. How would you feel? Come on. You haven't seen me in the farm yet. I can cook for 200 people, in no time. Something like that. If you have a lot of ability, if someone says word against your ability, you get hurt, because you have that ability to do that thing. So Prabhupada writes here, they will scorn your ability, they will doubt your ability, they will say unkind words about you. And then, tato dukha nukim. So what is more painful than that, isn't it? Any person who has that ability and someone else says you can't do it, you will be pained in the heart. Okay, is that okay? Now, Amar Prabhu has a question. I didn't say that way. Kanishka.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes,
so you may have covered this, but I just want to ask the question because I myself don't know. But in the purport, Prabhupada has said, he described his compassion as befitting the non-Aryans.
Yes.
What is that actually implying to?
Okay, thank you, Mataji. Nice question. So I'll just highlight it for everyone's benefit. So Mataji is asking, what is non-Aryan? The compassion is befitting for non-Aryan. So yes, we have covered this earlier. We gave the definition, a short definition of word Arya, and maybe Bhakti Vijaya Mataji can say. What's the definition of Arya? Simple definition. There are multiple levels of definition of Arya. A simple definition which we discussed earlier.
Living on scriptures.
A person who lives on the civilized way of living, based on living according to the scriptures.
Yes. So basically, we can say person who has a discrimination power between living and non-living based on spirit. So person who has a knowledge of spirituality, knowledge of Atma, knowledge of soul, he can be considered in one sense as a Aryan. If you don't have knowledge for the soul, you will be compassionate about the body. And that's fair. If you see in this world, many people are doing many philanthropic activities, very social work, for example, feeding the poor people, giving medicine to the poor people, feeding to the dogs, and doing lots of things, for the society, which is nice. And they get appreciated a lot, right? And that's why in the normal situation where they have no knowledge about the soul, all they can go till the body, isn't it? Comfort the body, don't hurt the body. And then the next person they get, don't hurt emotions. But then after that, they can't go further. They can't go further. So this is considered non-Aryan. You have no knowledge about the soul in the body. Is it okay?
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mataji. Okay, let's move forward. 237. Yeah, that's another famous verse. Divya Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hato va prapsyasi swargam.
Hato va prapsyasi swargam.
Jitva va bhoksyase mahim.
Jitva va bhoksyase mahim.
Tasmad udishta kaunteya.
Tasmad uttishta kaunteya.
Yuddhaya krita nishchaya.
Yuddhaya krita nishchaya.
O son of Kunti, either you'll be killed on the battlefield and attain the heavenly planets, or you will conquer and enjoy the earthly kingdom. Therefore, get up with determination and fight.
Thank you, Mataji. So this is another very sort of famous and commonly quoted verse. Hato. Hata refers to, I would ask you guys now to translate. To kill. Thank you, Vijay Mataji. Hato va pras. If you get killed in this battle, Hato va prapsyasi swargam. What you will attain? Swargaloka, heavenly kingdoms. If you get killed, what you will get? Heavenly kingdom. Jitva means if you get winning, you get victory in this battle. Bhokshase means bhogna. You will have what? Mahim. So Mahim is another synonym for Prithvi or earth. There's a word used in Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam as Mahipati. Mahipati means the king. So Mahim refers to the earth, land. So if you win, what you will get? The whole earthly kingdom. If you die, what you will get? Swargaloka. So what Arjun was saying in the previous chapter, lose-lose situation, Krishna has converted that to win-win situation. So that's another principle our Acharya says. If you go and surrender to Krishna, your lose-lose become win-win. You never lose with Krishna. In the material world, it's always actually lose-lose. Sooner or later, without Krishna, material world is always lose-lose situation. But with Krishna, it's always win-win. Tasma, therefore, Uttishta Kaunteya. Uttishta Kaunteya refers to, Hey Kunti Putra, get up. And what you should do, Yuddhaya, Krita Nishchayaha. The Krita Nishchaya is very, very important. So, Yuddhaya refers to Yuddha or battle. Krita Nishchaya, battle with determination. Now, if you remember last verse, last chapter's verse, when Bhishma Pitama was blowing the conch shell, we mentioned that Bhishma Pitama, although is in the other party, he's fighting and he's such a great warrior, no doubt about it. But is he fighting with his soul, with his heart? His heart is not there in the battle. Huh? So many times we do many activities in which our heart is not there. We do the activity for the sake of doing it, but the activity is only successful in a real sense when you put heart in it. We have many cooks here, and some cooks really put their heart in their cooking. Huh? Heart in the cooking means you can see when the cooking comes out, you will see it's not just normal. Huh? I'm remembering one example from Chaitanya Charitamrita. There are two examples actually. Okay, let's take one. So Sachi Mata, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took sannyas first time, when he took sannyas, and then he was going to Puri, Nityananda Prabhu tricked him. Anyway, he came back to Shantipur after tricking. So there, Sachi Mata was there, some Mayapur, other devotee Mandi was also there. So Sachi Mata cooked that time for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. It says in Chaitanya Charitamrita, she made such a cooking, because she knew this is the last time I'm going to cook for my son. And it says she has put all her heart and soul in the cooking. Now, this heart and soul doesn't mean she took her biological heart out and put in the cooking, put in the cooker. Not like that. What it means, they are fully determined and clear about their purpose, and that's how they do the work. When they do the work in that spirit, the work is very successful. Huh? You tell someone else who is not a good cook, for example, he can also do a cooking. But what cooking comes out, you may not accept it so sweetly. Huh? But when a person is putting his or her heart in the cooking, for example, one example, and there are many services. Prabhupada took the instruction of Bhakti Siddhanta Maharaj, first instruction, go and preach in the Western world in English language. Prabhupada took that instruction with Krita Nishchaya, with Nishchaya, with determination, he took that instruction, and we see what the result was. I say in our devotion life, many of us, if not all of us, we are not fully determined as yet. We are doing devotion, we are doing 16 rounds, and we are doing some services, deity worship, some seva in the temple, some donation in the temple. But are we doing those activities Krita Nishchaya, with full determination? Not sure about it, isn't it? We still think material life still have a lot of things to offer. And I should be able to enjoy those as well while I'm doing devotion life. So we are in the middle. My Guru Maharaj said, you are putting legs in two boats. Huh? You should put your leg in one boat. Huh? At least slowly start picking the food out of the material world and put both feet in the spiritual world. Then you can see your car will go very fast in spiritual life. Many times we have this complaint, I'm being chanting for 20 years, nothing much is happening because Krita Nishchaya is not there yet. So there's an activity done with Nishchaya, with determination. Okay, so Krishna is telling Arjun, Yuddhaya, not just Yuddhaya, Krita Nishchaya. And Prabhupada writes, therefore get up with determination and fight. You should be determined to fight, determined to do your duty, which on a soul level is special duty. My special duties are my top duties. Everything else we will do as much as needed for that occasion. If a small baby is there, mother has to give a lot of time to the baby, and that's fine. Huh? But you give even a 20-year-old baby the same time which you used to give to a 2-month-old baby, neither the baby will be comfortable, nor the mother, nor the other people in the house. He will say, leave me, mother, I'm 20-year-old now, isn't it? So, Yuddhaya Krita Nishchaya. So we should put as much effort as possible in our spiritual life for material activities, as much as needed. Sometimes it will be a lot of effort, sometimes less effort, but just for the occasion. Guru Maharaj says, rise up for the occasion. Whatever the occasion is, just rise up to it. Do the activity and then move on. Okay, let's move on. 238. Actually, before I do 238, let's come back to the PDF file. So the second section which we just read is Karma Kanda, which is 231 to 237. Krishna has defeated two arguments of Arjuna: enjoyment as well as sinful reaction. And we read these verses, right? So enjoyment, he said, you will enjoy in Sarvaloka, no problem, or on Prithviloka, and you will not get sinful reactions as well. So he said that. So we have covered Jnana and Karma Kanda. Now we are going to talk about Buddhi Yoga. So Buddhi Yoga is a very important section. Buddhi Yoga, many times you will see in Prabhupada writing, is sort of equivalent to Bhakti Yoga. And we'll see how it is equivalent, what does it mean, how it's equivalent to Bhakti Yoga, and how Krishna is asking us to live in this Bhakti Yoga. Just start the section and we'll come back to explanation. So 238. So now this section goes from 238 to 253. So there are 16 verses in that section. Okay. So let's do 238. We have Nidhi Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Sukha dukhe same kritva.
Sukha dukhe same kritva.
Labha labho jaya jayo.
Labha labho jaya jayo.
Tato yuddhaya yujyasva.
Tato yuddhaya yujyasva.
Nevam papam vapyasyasi.
Nevam papam avapsyasi.
Do thou fight for the sake of fighting, without considering happiness or distress, loss or gain, victory or defeat, and by so doing, you shall never incur sin.
Thank you, Mataji. I'm just opening 37. We'll do a comparison before we get inside. So this is 37. What 37? Okay, let's do 38 a little bit. So do the fight for the sake of fighting without considering. So there's 6 things Krishna is saying in this particular verse. Sukhe dukhe. So you remember from 240, Sitosham Suktataha, the 4 things Krishna mentioned there. There are 6 things mentioned in this verse. Sukhe dukhe. Same refers to you should be equipoised in what situation? Sukh dukha. Sama, be equal. Labha, alabha. Sometimes you'll have benefits, sometimes you'll have losses. This is how it works. Jaya, ajaya. Sometimes you will defeat someone, sometimes you will be defeated, isn't it? These are like normal life scenarios. We never get victory all the time. Only one person gets victory all the time. Who is that person? Who is that person who gets victory all the time? Krishna. Krishna, and his name is Ajit. Ajit means you cannot win over Krishna. Huh? Now he can surrender to his devotees out of love. That's different. But he's Ajit, and everyone else is Jita. You can be one, isn't it? If you think I'm a great fighter, someone else in the world will be able to fight back on you. Example, I'm remembering Ravan used to think I'm undefeatable. Shastri Arjun, he defeated Ravan, isn't it? So many other examples are there. You see, Duryodhan was thinking I'm undefeatable, but he got defeated. So Jaya, Ajaya will come. Labha, Labha, sometimes you get labh, sometimes you'll not get labh. Sometimes you'll feel sukha. Sukha here also refers to your comforts and perceived discomforts. So your comforts refers to you're sitting on a nice sofa right now. For example, you have an AC on and all the environment of your room is very cozy, very, very nice. You feel good about it. But imagine if the electricity goes off, your windows goes off, and the big gust of cold wind comes into your room, what you will say? You'll complain about it. So the same sukha has converted into dukkha. Another simple example Prabhupada used to give, the cold water in summer season seems very, very nice, but the same cold water in the winter season, you hate it. Someone asked you to take bath in the cold water in the month of January in India. Will you like it? I won't. So same water which gave sukha to you earlier is giving dukkha to you. So these 6 situations in the life just comes and goes. Same 214, sorry. And what you should be same kritva. Now, if you go to the previous verse, here what he was saying, hatava prastasi swargam, jetva va bhokchase. If you die, you go to Sargloka, and if you win, you get Prithviloka, right? You enjoy. Now, it's talking about enjoyment here. In the next section, he immediately tells you should be equipoised. Huh? So that shows it's a different section we are talking, and it's a higher section. So initially, what Kshatriyas get tempted, or Kshatriyas, anyone get tempted between this Svargaloka and enjoyment and all that, that's fine to a level of prescribed duties. Prabhupada, author here, writes Karma Kanda. Karma Kanda refers to the enjoyment which you get out of doing religious duties. So enjoyment is not prohibited in the Shastra, but enjoyment you should get by doing dharma, not by adharma. By killing some living entities, you get a lot of joy. That sort of joy is prohibited. But if you do your honest means, you get, $100, and with that honest mean, you go and buy nice vegetables, and you come home, you wash them, you prepare a nice prasadam, nice bhoga, you offer to the deities, and then you can enjoy, isn't it? We say enjoy the feast. So there is no problem in the enjoyment, but what Shastra is saying, enjoy within the realm of dharma. So enjoy is no problem. So now that dharma can be on the bodily level or on the spiritual level. So karma kanda referring to the bodily level enjoyment, which comes out of doing dharma on the bodily level. Okay. But when we go to the upper level, which we are reading right now in the 238, now we are not talking just the bodily enjoyment. We are going a little higher there, and we are coming towards the mind, mental. So we're saying, because people get mental, isn't it? When they get dukkha, they get mental. They can't handle it. Many people commit suicide. I heard in one lecture, India is going to be #1 country in the world in 2025. You know in what? Youngsters committing suicide. India is going to be #1 country in the world just in 3 years, as per the stats. So many youngsters are committing suicide in India these days. They can't handle because they don't read Ramayana and Mahabharata anymore. They don't have any tendency to serve their elders. They don't have tendency towards Lord anymore. They don't have love, kindness for each other. So they just can't handle. They die. So sukha dukhe. But Krishna is saying on a mental level, sukha dukhe same kritva. You should be equipoised. Labha, labha. You lost something, that's all right. You do your best, obviously. You're not going to give everything in charity, but at the same time, you will lose something sometime. Okay, that's fine. I got defeated by my friend. That's all right. That's not the end of the life. People actually commit suicide many times just because they get defeated by words. You could not respond to some person, someone bullying in the college, someone bullying you. And many youngsters, they commit suicide just on bullying. Nowadays, it's called cyber bullying. On Facebook, they do bully. So much is happening in the world. Krishna is saying, Sukh dukhe same kritva alabha alabha jaya jayo. Tato. So by understanding this, what you should do, tato, yuddha just so. You should do your fighting. Even if you lose, it doesn't matter. You should do your fighting for the sake of fighting. And if you do that, what will happen? Naivam papam avapsasi. Again, responding to the previous argument of Arjuna, where he was saying, I will get simple reaction. He's saying, if you do in this situation, fighting in this situation, where you're equipoised, even if you win or lose, naivam papam avapsasi, you will not receive any simple reactions. Is it clear? It's a very nice verse, and it's one grade higher. Let's move forward. It's a very nice series actually here. 239. I'll go back to Pinaki Prabhu, Hare Krishna. Would you like to read 239?
Sure, bro. Esha te bhihita sankhe.
Esha te bhihita sankhe.
Buddhir yoge tvimam shunu.
Buddhir yoge tvimam shunu.
Buddhaya yukto yaya partha.
Buddhaya yukto yaya partha.
Karma bandham prahasyasi.
Karma bandham prahasyasi.
Thus far, I have described this knowledge to you through analytical study. Now listen as I explain it in terms of working without fruitive results. O son of Pritha, when you act in such knowledge, you can free yourself from the bondage of works.
Yeah, so very nice verse. So here Krishna has used this word Buddhi Yoga. So the section which we are reading right now, you can see is named as Buddhi Yoga. And this is what the word comes from, 239, Buddhi Yoga. So, Esha te bhihita sankhe. So, Sankhya refers to analytical study. Sankhya, ginna, counting. Sankhya. So far, I have given the knowledge. So far, basically, Krishna is saying the previous section was knowledge I have given through Sankhya. Sankhya means counting. So, what are we counting here? As per Shastra, we are counting the material elements. 24 material elements are there. Will not count it here. And it says you go beyond it. You go on a soul level. Soul is considered 25th element. Sometimes in Sankhya, you'll read 25 elements, 26 elements. 26 is the super soul. So 24 material elements, 25th is the soul, and 26 is the super soul. There are some other counting matters as well. Anyway, so far I have given you knowledge on the soul level, which is called Sankhya. Now I am going to speak. Shruno, please hear. Trima, you should hear Buddhi Yoga. I'm going to speak about Buddhi Yoga. What does Buddhi Yoga mean? So Buddhi refers to intelligence, inner wisdom. Sometimes Prabhupada called is internalized wisdom. Internalized wisdom is not only I know, I follow it as well. It's also known as Gyan and Vigyan, so knowledge and realized knowledge. So Buddhi refers to something which is realized. So suppose anything, say example, alcohol or drugs or something like that. So some people take alcohol and drugs and they think it's very nice. Some people don't take it, but they still think it's nice. You know, when they do that, when doctors say you cannot drink any more alcohol, your liver is gone, or if you drink alcohol, you will die. So they still like alcohol, but they can't take it. They still like it. Isn't this called the realized knowledge? No, they still love alcohol. If they could, they will. Huh? But in other places, you will see they not only not take alcohol, they don't want to take alcohol. No? So there are three levels you can see. Some people enjoy taking, some people enjoy taking, but they can't take it. But some people just understand this is not good for me. They're not tempted towards looking at the bottle. I remember one person telling me he was looking at the bottle someone else was taking. He was saying, I'm too tempted to take it because I can see the bottle. Just with the bottle, he could be tempted to drink alcohol, for example. And anyway, there are many situations. People pass through the shop, I have heard, and they get tempted and they buy. That's why so much advertisement goes on for alcohol and similar other products, drugs or other things like that. Anyway, so Buddhi refers to, Prabhupada explained, Prabhupada was asked once, what's the difference between mind and intelligence? So Prabhupada said, mind means when you're at the top of a 40-story building, for example, you're standing on the terrace on a 50-story building high. Huh? You're standing on the terrace. So mind says jump, and Prabhupada says intelligence says don't. So mind says, wow, what a fantastic thing to jump and try something new. The intelligence says, no, don't do this. Huh? So intelligence is something which is internalized wisdom. You understand what is right and what is not right. And many people have very weak intelligence. They know what is wrong, but they still do it, right? They know alcohol is wrong, drugs is wrong, but they still take it. Why? Their intelligence is very, very weak. For a devotee, his intelligence is very strong, very, very clear. And read about it. So Buddhi Yoga here refers to Buddhi, which is used for yoga. Intelligence, which is used for connection. Connection with whom? Connection with money, fame, connection with Krishna. Huh? So now Krishna here at this stage is not using Bhagwan or super soul and things like that, but he's saying yoga. Yoga refers to the inner reality. So there's external reality in the world, there's an inner reality of the world. So external reality, what we are living right now, we are body, we are male, female, we come from India, Australia, or whatever. We have a particular job, we have a particular status, and blah, blah, blah. That's all external. But internal reality is we are soul. We are connected to Krishna. We are kids of Krishna. Krishna loves us. We have the spiritual duties. That's the inner reality. So Buddhi Yoga, that Buddhi which you use to do yoga of this inner reality, which you are, with the higher supreme divine reality. Okay? Understand? Buddhi Yoga. And Krishna says in 10.10, Chaturshloki Bhagavad Gita, everyone knows 10.10, Dadami Buddhi Yogam Tam Yena Mamo Piyantite. I will give you Buddhi Yoga by which you can come back to me. So Prabhupada writes that. So Krishna gives that Buddhi by which we can do yoga. Whom Krishna will give Buddhi? To anyone? No, only to sincere souls. Huh? So although he's open to give to everyone, but only sincere souls will take from Krishna. Huh? So what Krishna is going to start here now, right now, the topic will be Buddhi Yoga. Krishna is saying, please here. So far I've explained Sankhya, analytical study of the soul. Now I'm going to speak about Buddhi Yoga. Now what this Buddhi Yoga will do? Buddhi Yukto Yaya Partha. But if you follow this, what will happen? Karma Bandham Prahasyasi. You will be out of Karma Bandha. There will be no bondage of karma. Because you are fearful of your simple reactions, right? If you kill someone, there's an action reaction going on, right? I perform abominable action, I'll get a reaction. And Arjun was right in that sense. But if you follow Buddhi Yoga, what will happen? Karma bandham prahasyasi. There will be no more bondage of karma, right? Nice. So Krishna is basically introducing the topic very nicely. Huh? Krishna is a very good teacher. He introduces the topic, he details the topic, and he summarizes the topic. These are the three qualities of a good teacher. Huh? He always introduces the topic, he details, he gives detailed explanation, and he summarizes it. So Krishna is doing that. Obviously, he is the best teacher. Huh? He's teaching Bhagavad Gita. Okay, let's move forward. 240. Now, 240 is one of the most famous verses of Bhagavad Gita. When we come to ISKCON, we hear about this verse 1866, and 240 is one of those verses. We love this verse. It's very, very nice. Let's read it. And yeah, I don't know how long we can spend on that. Who has not read as yet today? I think we have covered everyone. Yes, Prabhuji, please. Vijay, Rasana Prabhuji.
Neba Bikramana Sosti.
Neha Bikramana Shosti.
Pratva Vayuna Vidyate.
Pratyavayo na vidyate.
Swalpa Abhi Asya Dharmasya.
Swalpam apyasya dharmasya.
Trayate Mahato Bhayat.
Trayate Mahato Bhayat.
In this endeavor, there is no loss or diminution, and a little advancement on this path can protect one from the most dangerous type of fear.
Now, Krishna is glorifying the path of Buddhi Yoga. Huh? First, you have to glorify. You have to buy a product. You see in the TV, they do a lot of advertisement. And they say, if you buy this, whatever, a car or a house, you get this, you get this, you get this. You know, all these different glories of that product they explain. And finally, they explain the price. Only $9.99. So, Krishna is also glorifying the product. What's the product here? Buddhi Yoga. What's the first benefit he said in the 239? What's the first benefit he said? Karm bandham prahasyasi. If you do Buddhi Yoga, if you live according to Buddhi Yoga, if you fight with Buddhi Yoga, what will happen? There's no karma bandhan, there's no bondage of karma. And now he's saying not only that, neha abhikarma shosti. So abhikrama, Prabhupada translates as endeavor. So in this path of living with Buddhi Yoga, na iha in this one, abhikrama in endeavoring. If you endeavor in this particular part, nasha asti. Nash means destruction. Destruction does not exist. So basically what Krishna is saying, if you follow this path, whatever endeavors you do in this path, here it refers to say Bhakti Yoga, any devotional act you perform, pratyavayo, diminution is not existing. Huh? Pratyavayo means diminution. It is not depletable account. Like every account you have, $1,000 in your bank account, in your debit card. If you remove $10 every day, how many days you will take to take all the money out? Any mathematicians here? You have $1,000, simple one. You take $10 every day out. Take $100 every day out. It's very expensive. These days, things are very expensive. $10 is nothing. How many days it will take to finish up your account?
10 days.
10 days? You're sure, Prabhuji? But imagine if you have $1,000 credit account in your Bhakti account. How long will you take to exhaust all the Bhakti credits? How long you will take? You can never exhaust Bhakti credits because it's undepletable account. It does not get depleted. Every other account, your own body is getting depleted, isn't it? Sorry. We're all getting old. Our body is getting depleted. Our accounts are getting depleted. The house which we live in, even court says, normal wear and tear is okay. So after 7 years, you have to paint the house again, 7 or 10 years, something like everything gets depleted because this is Mrityu Loka. One thing that doesn't get depleted, which is Bhakti credits. Any Bhakti Sukriti which you have performed knowingly or unknowingly, it's undeletable, undepletable. There are two qualities here. Undepletable means it never goes down. If we have 1,000 Bhakti credits in your account, it will after 10 billion trillion years after, you will still have 1,000 credits of Bhakti. So in this path, Krishna is glorifying the path of Bhakti. Neha vikarma shosti pratyavayo na vidyate. Now, how much you will do? Swalpam. Alpa. Alpa, I think it's a Sanskrit word. Swalpahar, we say in Hindi, Swalpahar means breakfast. Alpa, alpa means chota. Thoda sa. Very little. Swalpam, very little. So we have this verse in Bhagavad Gita. What is the verse? I'm not able to remember. Devi Heshai Gunmai, Mamma Adrutya, Mame Viprakriti. No, not that one. There's another verse as well. Anyway, Su means When, so wherever you put su in front of a verse, it becomes very, very. So alpa means little, swalpa means very little. Even if you do very little effort, even if you chant one name of Krishna or Rama, who chanted one name of Lord and got liberated? Vijay Mataji is saying, who chanted one name of Lord and got liberated?
Ajamil.
Ajamil, thank you. Ajamil, live example, we all know that. He chanted one name of Narayan and he got second chance. Just one name. So it says Swalpam. So don't think, my chanting is ever going to get wasted. Even if your mind is not there in chanting, our Acharya says, I'm not saying I have no eligibility to say, you should still chant. And because Ram Nam will give you benefit. It just cannot not give you benefit. Cannot. It just doesn't have that power. Even Ram Nam doesn't have power to not give you the benefit. But obviously the benefits are not gross. Benefits are not gross. Sometimes they can be gross if Lord desires, but the benefits are not gross here. And that's why sometimes we get discouraged. Kuch bhi life mein nahi, or nothing is happening in my life. I've been chanting for 10 years. So the question is, why are you chanting for 10 years? That's the question you should ask, not what's happening in your life. Anyway, so Swalpam apyasya dharma se trayate mahato bhaya. Trayate means tran. So we have word called mantra. Manah trayate iti mantra. So which tran, which delivers the mana, mind, that's called mantra. So trayate refers to tran. We have word trishul, trayate. They're all same. Mantra, they're all same. Trishul means when you get shul. That's called trishul. And Durga Devi has that trishul. And trident, three tridents. So she gives shul, dukha by three means: Adi Devik, Adi Bhautik, and Adhyatmik. So she has ways. So trayate mahato bhaya. What does bhaya refers to? Bhaya refers to our sinful actions. When we perform a sinful action, a sane person at least will know he will get a sinful reaction, right? If you knowingly take up someone's property, if you knowingly do some violence towards someone, then you'll get a sinful reaction. It's very clear. So a sane person will know, if I do sinful action, I'll get a sinful reaction. So whenever you are in fear, generally, what is the cause of the fear? Your sinful actions are the cause. Because you are fearful. A chore, a thief is fearful of a police, isn't it? Why is fearful of a police? Because he knows police can catch me. I've done some wrong act and police can catch me. A normal person is fearful of a police. If you haven't broken any law, a police comes, you're happy. Hi, hello, how are you? But if a chore sees a police, he will run away. He is fearful. So we are all, as per Prabhupada, we are all chore. We are all thieves. What we have stolen, Krishna's property we have stolen. We ourselves want to become Krishna. We want to enjoy Krishna's property without Krishna's capacity. You are thief. When we recognize it's Krishna's property, you become a devotee by all the means. So here bhaya refers to our sinful actions which are going to come, and then we are very fearful about it. So if you want to get rid of that fear, mahato bhaya, what's the biggest fear in the world? Death. Isn't it? Death is the biggest fear. Losing our loved ones, losing our property is all right, but death? No. No one wants to die. Anyone wants to die? Practically no one wants to die. Even Bhagavatam explains that even Indra doesn't want to die. There's a nice story there. Anyway, no one wants to die. So mahato bhayat, from the greatest sinful reactions, you will be thrown, you will be delivered, you will come out of that. How you'll come out? Solpamapasya dharma. Here dharma refers to devotional act. So even if you do a small little devotional act, there is no diminution on this path, and you will be delivered from the greatest fear. So what this verse is very emphatically saying, you should perform devotion as much as possible, because it will never get depleted. Everything else in the world, no matter you are a millionaire or billionaire, it will go one day. Radha Maharaj says sometimes it will go in front of your eye, sometimes it will go once you close your eyes. So it will go in front of your eyes means a chore will take, a thief will take, your family members will take, government will take money. And even if they don't take, what will happen? When you close your eyes, money will go. You cannot come back in the next birth and tell your son, hey, beta, I'm the owner of this sampatti. I'm the owner of this wealth. I'm the owner of this house. There's a story actually. The son was beating the father with the juta, with the shoe. Because the father was saying, actually, beta, I'm the father. I'm the owner of this house. And the sons were beating the father. In next birth, you can't carry. But what you can carry is your credits of bhakti. And that's what this verse is saying. Okay, there's a question by Ujjwal Mataji or Khandras Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask you based on this verse that we say that any devotional piety done is never lost. There is no depletion. So sometimes like devotees do Harinam, or sometimes people come in contact with the devotees and they gather some gather some credits, devotional credits. So, but on the other hand, they are still carrying on their sinful activities and sinful life. So in that case, when the death comes upon them, will they have to suffer those sinful reactions first and then get human birth, or based on that devotional credit, will they go to the human birth next life?
Yeah. Okay. Very nice question Mataji has asked. So I'll talk about the principle first in detail later. So as per principle, what we are reading in this verse is a verse of principle. Any devotional credits you get is never lost. Any means any. Even if a person on a Harinam on a street is drinking alcohol, and you would have seen it, they also start chanting with Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. They're drinking alcohol, but they're chanting with the Harinam party, and they may follow the Harinam party for a while. So they have attained, for example, 10 credits, 10 devotional credits, something like that. So this 10 credits will never be lost. And Krishna will always inspire this soul to move towards him sooner or later. Now, how Krishna does that, that is very complex to understand. When Krishna does whatever he does based on that soul's desire, he does his own way. So saying the details will be very difficult, but the principle is Krishna will always give opportunity on the basis of this listening of Harinam or chanting with Harinam, following the Harinam party, whatever this soul has achieved in his account or her account, they will follow in all the verse. In the next account, he will start from number 11. So that 10 credits is never lost. Now, how it will manifest in the life, that's very hard to say. This person can take birth in India, this can even in outside India, he can meet people, and many people became devotee at the age of 17. And how did they become at the age of 17? Because of the previous birth, they are carrying so much piety. They have done 40% of devotion or whatever. Then this birth, they get automatically attracted towards devotees. And here you see in India, there are so many old people, 70-year-old. They go to temple, they are pious people, they are vegetarians, but they don't take devotion seriously at all. Because their piety is there, but spiritual piety is not there, or very little is there. So they are still in their karmic cycle, and they're just carrying that little plant, which will take, I don't know how many lifetimes to develop for them to become a serious devotee. But they're carrying on. That's the main point. Is that okay, Mataji?
Thank you, Prabhu. But what I was curious was about whether would they get a human birth to continue from that little piety they have done, or would they have to go down to the hellish condition of life and then again evolve to come to human birth?
And that's the answer, Mataji, I gave. How it will get manifested is very hard to say. Even His Holiness Bhakti Maharaj also said, how Krishna will deal with the devotee's life, it's very hard to say, very, very hard to say. They will go at one planet first, another planet second. What Krishna will allow, what he will not allow. Sometimes Krishna allows devotees to go through their sinful reactions. Sometimes he does. And there are many stories in Shastra. Sometimes he just wipes it off, wipes the whole account of sinful reactions. So very hard to say how Krishna will deal with that particular situation.
Okay, thank you, Prabhu.
Yeah, okay, thank you. We can't generalize it. It's case by case, and Krishna can do it. We can't. Okay, we'll do one more verse, and then we will stop. 241. Anyone volunteer to read? Okay, Vijay Mataji, Hare Krishna.
व्यवसायात्मिका बुद्धिर्
व्यवसायात्मिका बुद्धि
एकेह कुरु नन्दन बहुशाखानन्तस्य बुद्धयो व्यवसायिनाम्. Those who are on this path are resolute in purpose, and their aim is one. O beloved child of the Kurus, the intelligence of those who are irresolute is many-branched.
Yeah. So Krishna is basically again going on the path of Buddhi Yoga, which we are reading the glories of, and he's sort of emphasizing on this particular path. Vyavasayatmika buddhi ekehe kurunandana. So kurunanda obviously refers to the Arjun, ekehe refers to the ek. So vyavasayatmika buddhi. So people on this path, their buddhi is Vyavasayatmika buddhi. Vyavasayatmika, Prabhupada writes, resolute in Krishna consciousness. Resolute refers to very determined. So the people who are serious in this particular path, their buddhi is very determined, very one-focused. On the other hand, next two lines, Bahu Shakha hi Anantascha. Buddhayo avyavasayinam. So there are two words. So okay, one word in two forms, vyavasayatmika and avyavasayatmika. Okay? So the first word saying vyavasayatmika buddhi. So one who are in this path, their buddhi is very focused, one focused. But on the other hand, contrary, avyavasayinam. The others people mind are avyavasayatmika, irresolute. That means they are not very determined, and their buddhi is bahushakahina. They go on different paths. So basically what is said in this particular verse, if you want to get the results in this particular path, you should be very resolute in your determination. You should be resolute, very determinedly follow this path. Because if your focus is one, I can give the example of Dhruv Maharaj. He was only 5-year-old. He didn't have very developed intelligence. He was not very scholarly in Shastra. But when Narad Muni told him, this is the path to get to your goal. What was his goal? Anyone knows what was his goal? To get a kingdom which is greater than Brahmaji. Look at this 5-year little boy. 5-year little boy, you give him a $2 ball, he'll be happy. Or something like, very simple. Sometimes even they get happy with some branches. You go in the park, they'll pick up the branches, they're happily playing. You don't have to even spend money. They're happy with very little thing. But here little boy is saying, I don't want my father's kingdom. Narad Muni said, if you want kingdom, let's go to Uttanpad, your father. He is my disciple. I'll tell him to give you kingdom. He'll give you kingdom. And Dhruva said, no way. Initially, I wanted the kingdom, that kingdom, but now I don't want his kingdom. So he said, what do you want? He said, who's Uttanpad's father? Manu Maharaj. Manu Maharaj does not just reign the earth planet. He reigns 14 planetary system for his call. But Brahmaji, his father, through Uttanpad's grandfather, he reigns the whole universe for his 100 years. Manu Maharaj also has a timeline. But Brahmaji reigns everything. Now Dhruva is saying, I don't want my father's kingdom. I don't want my Manu Maharaj, grandfather's kingdom. I don't even want Brahmaji's kingdom. I want greater kingdom than Brahmaji. 5-year-old boy. Look at his focus. His focus is very, very clear. He doesn't know how to get it, but he's very clear what he wants to get. So you look at his focus, and as soon as Narad Muni told him the way, he said, that's it. That's it. I want to do this to get to the end. So this is just one example, and there are many examples in Shastra. So you can look at Bharat Maharaj as well. Initially, obviously, in the first birth, his focus was distracted towards the end of his life with the deer, and he could not achieve the purpose. Second life, also he could not achieve his purpose. Third life, he was so focused. He will not speak to anyone. He will show himself as a dumb and lame person. Whoever will say something, he will follow his words or her words. He will eat anything, whether it's tasty or not tasty. Third birth, he became completely resolute. I want to achieve Krishna in this birth. Did he achieve the goal? He achieved the goal. Prabhupada, when he was given instruction by Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj, he was very determined to follow. He said, even if I make one disciple, one person Krishna conscious, my Guru Maharaj mission will be successful. He was not willing to make, he was not dreaming to make thousands of disciples, although that happened. So one resolute, one determination is very much needed if you want to achieve success. Many of us categories are the second line. Bahushakha Inantasha. Our buddhi is thinking about Bahushakha, many things. We can do devotion as well. We can do material life. My Guru Maharaj was saying, we want good material life and good spiritual life. He said it doesn't work that way. We want safalta. We want success in all realms of life. I'm such a wonderful devotee. People should say, I'm such a successful person. I'm such a wonderful devotee. It just doesn't work. Initially, we can do that, but it doesn't work that way. Now, Krishna can give success. That's a different story. Yudhishthira Maharaj got success not because he wanted success. Krishna gave him success. Arjuna didn't want success. Krishna gave him success. So that is another thing. Prahlad Maharaj never wanted the kingdom. Never wanted the kingdom. Krishna gave him the kingdom. But our situation is what? We want the kingdom as well as Krishna. So all these examples show us we should become Vyavasayatmika Buddhi. Now, why Vyavasayatmika word is used? Vyavasay, it's a Hindi word, it's a Sanskrit word used in Hindi. Vyavasay means dhanda. I'm looking at Mahavasu Prabhu. He's also doing some dhanda, some business. Amar Prabhu, and nothing wrong with dhanda. And Prabhupada said, actually, we should become at least Vaishya. Nowadays, most of us are Shudra. As per Prabhupada, Shudra means work for someone and get salary. How many are working for others? I'm working for others. I'm a Shudra. So Prabhupada said, you should become at least Vaishya, have your own business. So Mahavasu Prabhu is a greater category. So anyway, so Vyavasayatmika. So Prabhu, dhande ka rule kya hai? What's the rule of dhanda? First rule of dhanda, profit, isn't it? Paisa milna chahiye. Profit is the first rule of dhanda. Again, honestly, we are not saying dishonestly. Honestly, we work and we get some money, we get some profit. So here, what the profit is? Krishna consciousness is the profit. And if you want that profit, what you have to become? AKH Kurunandana. So here, our business is what? To achieve Krishna Prema. Our business is Krishna Prema. What we think our business is to enjoy in the material world as well as in the spiritual world. So our tendency is not to serve at this stage. Our tendency is to, even in devotional life, we want to do bhoga. How? If someone praises you for your seva which you have done or you have not done, would you like to get the credit? Why not? If the credit is coming your way, would you like to get it? Be honest. Why not? If someone glorifying you, no, we should not, but we like to get it. We like others to glorify us. We love it. If someone glorifies, Prabhu, you're the only one who understands me or my value. No one understands me. We love our glories actually. And it says one of the sign of devotional advancement is when you don't like hearing your glories, when you like to hear Krishna's glories. Our glories, we should convert to Krishna's glories or devotees' glories. When you start liking it from your heart, I'm talking, not just saying from the word. From your heart, you feel like this person is glorifying, but I don't deserve this glorification. I don't have those characteristics which devotee is considering. Krishna is glorious, Prabhupada is glorious, my Guru Maharaj is glorious, other devotees are glorious. When from your heart you really like hearing the glories of others, then you should understand I'm advancing in devotional life. When your heart is longing to listen to your own glories, you should consider, I'm not developing good in Krishna consciousness because I still like to listen to my glories. And that's not a sign, that's not a good sign. So anyway, so this verse is very clearly saying we should become one-pointed, one-focused attention towards our goal, which is Vyavasai. What's the Vyavasai? To become Krishna conscious. It says if a money-minded businessman is going out in the world, everything he looks through in terms of money. How much money I can make in Switzerland if I open a branch here, how much money I can make in America, how much money I can make in India. All they see is in terms of profit, right? Profit in terms of money. So similarly, a Krishna conscious person or aspiring devotee, always looking to the profit of getting Krishna Prema. Where I can get Krishna Prema, where can I get Krishna Prema, where can I get Krishna Prema? And he goes there, he does those things, and he tries to get Krishna Prema. AKH Kurunandana. Everything else is secondary. I'll give one example. B.B. Govind Maharaj gave this example in Sydney. I loved it. And we can finish with that example. So B.B. Govind Maharaj, his body is born in America, but he speaks very good Hindi. He's very big kirtanier in ISKCON. So he gave this very beautiful example. He said in Hindi, there are two words. And there's a kanjus. Everyone knows kanjus in Hindi. Kanjus means miser. And there's a makhi chus. Makhi chus, I don't know how to translate that in English. I can explain that. So kanjus is a person, if he's drinking a glass of milk, if a makhi comes, a fly comes in the glass of milk, a normal person will throw away the whole glass of milk, a whole cup of milk. A kanjus, a miser, what he will do? He will take the makhi out, he will take the fly out of the cup of the milk, and he will drink the milk. And you know what a makhi chus will do? I think you understand what I'm saying. So I will explain it for the people who don't understand it. A makhi chus is the person when the fly comes in the glass of milk which you are drinking, he will pick up the fly because the fly is covered with the milk. He will put the fly in his mouth. He will suck it completely. There's the milk there, and he will throw the fly out, and then he will drink the rest of the glass of the milk. So Maharaj said, B.B. Maharaj says, a Krishna conscious person should become makhi chus. Makhi chus not in terms of makhi ko chusna. Makhi chus in terms of getting Krishna, wherever you can get the least Krishna, is this devotee has a wonderful quality. If by serving this devotee, although he's my enemy, I don't like this person, but if he has Krishna, he can give me blessings to become a better devotee. I will go and bow down to this person, touch his feet, get blessings to become Krishna conscious. Then you become a devotee. Maharaj said that. So becoming a devotee is not easy. At the same time, it's not impossible. You should look Krishna everywhere, as much as possible, as much as a makhi choose looks at the milk which is covered in the body of a makhi, of a fly. Okay, it's a very nice example. I thought I'll share that example. So we'll stop here. It's 13 past. Sorry, we went 3 minutes over than the target. Samit Prabhuji, any announcements? Quick announcements?
No, Prabhuji, the only thing is we have a class this weekend on Sunday, and it would be in Edmondson Park.
Okay.
So we'll post the details of that.
Yeah. So our normal class this Sunday. This was just a catch-up class for the last month. So thank you everyone for staying back. If you have any questions, obviously please write it. We'll try to answer next week. Not next week, next class this Sunday. And also tomorrow is Ekadashi. So happy Ekadashi to everyone. Have a nice Krishna conscious Ekadashi tomorrow. And we'll see you all on Sunday. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Jai. Gaur Premanande.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Krishna. Pranam everyone.
Thank you.